Hello, hello, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. Today we're working on assembling my alphabet journal. It's going to be for all of next year. Every 2 weeks we'll have a letter of the alphabet starting with A, and we'll have 3 prompts to go with it. So I had showed you these papers that I had made the other day, and I told you I was going to use 26. Well, when I put it in the journal cover, which is a cover that I got and I gutted the paper out of it from the Dollar Tree, it was floating in here. There wasn't enough paper. So I got in here and I went and put another one of my papers in between each one. So we'll flip through this when I get done. But I wanted to show you this type of a way of putting it into an altered book. I don't know if this is the proper way that everybody else does, but what I do is I sew it down to a piece of cardstock, and this was some of the aluminum, or not aluminum, foil, foil type of cardstock, and I actually glued it to another piece so it was a little extra strong. Then I also put on some washi tape on the back, so it gave it more strength, you know. And then the cut on the edge, I wanted a little decorative cut. So I have these 2 little pieces that I cut off. We're going to use those somewhere. But it was a bunch of scissors my dad got at the dump. We have a place over in Churchville that you have these 3 big bins and you can take your trash there. Well, somebody didn't want this big circular stand of these decorative scissors. So he brought it home to me. And this is the cut that I used on here because if you notice, Aztec, A-Z, A to Z. So, that was my little play on words. First off, we're going to start prepping a few things. So I showed you these in the last video, and they were just some old stencils that I had. Well, I think this is the size that I need my stencil shape to be. So I'm just going to kind of cut it down and show you how I did it. And then we're going to paint it. I kept looking around, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I ended up with this. That you can, some of mine on my front are not exactly the same size as each other, but if you start with like a template piece, that will guide you. Some of the letters were wider. That's what threw me off for a while. Well, anyway, so we're going to use Salvage Patina Distress Paint. And I'm going to just show you how I threw this one together. I've got most of the rest of them done. I do have a few that I need to do some embossing, heat embossing on. I know my cousin Phyllis would like to see some heat embossing. So I'm going to show her that. I was going to try to get some spray in here, but, I ended up deciding on another route. She likes to see me spray pages and things. All right, so this ends up being the first coat, and then you need a second coat because it, it needs to dry a little bit on that craft cardstock. So let me dry it real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, once the distress paint dries, it is permanent. So we're just going to glue this to the back. And I want to get in here and thank everyone for coming by to visit. I know you always love some mixed media, so got a little bit of that in here along with assembling my book and maybe a little decorating. We'll see what we have the room for. I do have a little Happy Mail burst at the end that Wayne sent me some Happy Mail, and he sent me one of his gorgeous journals. You just got to see it. Now, he does digital type of artistry to make his pages, whereas I go and I assemble things. So there's so many different aspects to the art that yeah, you can get looks very many different ways. I know a few people that are able to do the graphic part. Now this is sliding all over because this is a foil at the back here. See how shiny it is? But yeah, anyway, so I want to spend a little time at the end of the video. That'll be sort of your sneaky peek because I don't have one ready today. Oh my goodness. I know there was some of you that wanted to see my Christmas tree as well, so I may have to get you out there and show you that real quick. We'll actually get a few of these pieces ready because some stuff has to dry. And so maybe I'll run the camera out there then and show you. So our next piece to get ready is going to be the actual, gosh, I didn't glue down all the way. The actual heat embossing. So let's get two of our pieces out here. My two little trays. This one I think is the one I'm stamping on, and this is the one I'm throwing the heat embossing on. Now, here's what I have left of letters. Now you can see some of them I already put the stamp on there. I thought they looked too naked. Well, let me show you a couple of these. I've got a couple at the end here that I've got to do with you. And see how naked they are as compared to this one? This one just has so much more character. So I looked at these and I thought, how flat. Now I have a few little doilies left as well that we're going to do the same process with. And those are going to be for maybe every other page. I had like a blank page in my journal where you can actually journal if you wanted to. So now this little set of word, this is a very tiny one here. And then there's like a script one here. And then this one is like a loose script where you can't really read it. That's the one I'm using. It just, you can't read it. It doesn't distract you because you're trying to figure out what it says. But it's nice because it's got, you know, it's got some character to it. So I'm going in here. This is my VersaFine watermark stamp pad that has that glycerin in it. And I'm just kind of not using a stamp block. I'm just kind of going in here and letting it fall. And I'm pushing it down in a few places. Now, you can't see it, but I can see very lightly a little bit of a wet area. So I'm going to go over here on this side and grab this. Then I'm going to go down below here and do a little bit on the lower side. I want to make sure it's kind of all over. Okay. And one more there. All right. That should be all we need for these three. Now I'm using a detail embossing powder in gold. And I'm throwing them over on this one. Just in case I got any of that stamped glycerin on this one, I don't want to waste any of my powder because it will stick to that. So what we need to do is just pour our powder on there. And I kind of tilt it and kind of let it work its way down. I liked the irregular look, so, and then I'm kind of tapping it, and see, that's what I come up with. And it kind of just gives you something to look at. If it was totally covered, I don't know that it would be as interesting, you know, because that would be too uniform. I know there's some of you out there that's the way you like to craft dough. So, I mean, if that's what makes you happy, you go ahead and do that. Oh, and I want to make a big shout out to Katrina. Now, she's one that watches me all the time. She always leaves me little hearts. She's one I mentioned before that likes to leave me little hearts. And that, you know, you don't have to go in there and say anything. You can leave me a smiley face for all I care. That just lets me know how you felt about the video. So anyway, she has been going through all of my backlog videos and watching them and leaving me little hearts on each one. And I really appreciate it because, you know, this month, my views have gone down. So what little bit, you know, a little bit of watching really, really helps me. And she kept me afloat. Thank you, Katrina. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm drying these. And the only problem with this foil and it being doubled is it likes to bow a little bit. So I'm getting behind here and giving it a little heat on both ends, even though it's pretty thick. Now there you go. See it changing? Yep, that's all we needed. And it gives it that cool little look. And we'll heat the front here, and then we'll heat the back. And then we'll go back to the front. And usually by that time you've got it heated up enough that it'll change. Yeah. All right. Now we have a few doilies to do in the same concept. Actually, I got to do this as well. I'll use that for something later on. Maybe a cluster. Who knows? It'll work for something. Let's see. Okay, so I need to put the Y last. I'm trying to keep my alphabet in order. The only problem was I didn't have enough that of the letters going straight through. So anyhow, so yeah, we got to do this one, and then we got to do some doilies. So let's get in here, stamp that in a few places. That should be enough. Oh gosh, which one? Yeah, is this the right one or the wrong one? Oh, this is the right one. Okay. Then I have a few doilies here. And I'll tell you what, these doilies heat up fast. Really fast. So all I'm going to do is put a few stamps of the letters on here. Sometimes if they don't stick all the way, I think I'm fine with it. And then this one. Okay. There. Let's see what turns out there. Alright, let's roll our powder on here. See what sticks. Well, that one was a little more busy than others. It kind of, but it's alright. Well, we'll keep it. Now let's see what happens on these. I got these little doilies at Scrapbooking with Me. As you can see, it's just a little smear. I don't know that I got that many. Oh yeah, this one got it. You just couldn't see it on here. I guess because of the type of paper it is. I'll find the container that I got these out of here in a second, and I'll show you. There we go. Yep. And I think she had different colors, but I really liked the little teal. It was like Doodlebug Design Incorporated. There were 75 in here. And 4602 Swimming Pool Mini Paper Doilies. So that's what it's got on there. But, you know, you can never go wrong with a doily. All right. Now, when I'm going to have to get this put away. I don't need any more of this, so I kind of tilt it back in here, and then I'll tap that. And see, I didn't mean for that to happen, but it did. So we will go and get our heat embossing gun, and I'm going to show you how this looks. These go really quick. So here's my gun. Make sure it's on the hot side. And I guess because the paper is so thin, let me get it in a better grip here. There we go. Wow, oh yeah, it's already turning. See, that's quick. And you want to have tweezers or something with you, because you don't want to get too close to this nose. Whoop, that one's stuck. But yeah, these will turn into being really good little pieces that'll go under some stamps that I made. Some faux stamps. And they're sticking to my tweezers. And to some die cut flowers that I cut out of a bunch of my scraps. Okay, and then we have to do this one. Ooh, this has got all kinds of stuff on it. See how it's bowing? And it's even bowing worse. So sometimes I had to get in here and I had to bow them back. Yeah. Okay. Wow, that one is bowed. Pretty big. Oh, so usually when it's still kind of warm, that's the best time to get in here and bend it back. So there we go. Yeah. So it's as straight as it's going to be. It'll get glued down to something, so then it'll be fine. So this was a few more of our doilies. And I did take and splatter some with some of this gold tarnished brass spray stain. And as you can see, I splattered them and I splattered some of these flowers. So I got a few with that on it. Like there's a big one there. I thought it added a little bit to them. And let me get my piece over here and I'll show you. I mean my box. So all I got to do is lay them in the box. And doesn't matter which direction the words are in. And this doesn't spray the best. But the way it sprays in clumps. And that's what I wanted. See? Oh, my goodness. Okay. And then you always want to wipe your nose off. I usually just use what's in here. Oh, maybe I won't use what's in there. Let me wipe it off with this tissue from my trash can. All right. 49 Dragonflies. She uses this stuff all the time to do. And then she'll take hers out like this. And she splatters it like that. Which I don't get as great a, result that way. All right. That can sit over here to dry. Don't need that no more. All right. Next step. Okay, I thought I'd bring you out here while those things are drying and show you my Christmas tree. I didn't put a skirt under it this year. I just pulled out the basement 4 days before Christmas and let it be. It's only a 4-foot tree, and every year something gets broke on it. The cats haven't been messing with it this year. But here is the topper, and I just made it out of that's one of those styrofoam egg shapes, and I put this teal material around it, and then I just put some of my my actual peacock feathers and a few little decorations. And the things that's on the tree are feathers and peacocks. Like here's a peacock, and some stuff Mom gave me. Here's a green peacock. Here's one that ain't setting straight. They're so heavy. This is such a delicate little tree. Now here's an actual ball that's got peacock feathers on it. Got like a little tip on it. Yeah, the rest of those got broke. I think that's a butterfly and a bird. I got a purple peacock here. He's pretty. I got a mask. Here's another bird. Wow, that one glitters. There's another crazy looking ball. What else is on here? Oh, here's a pretty one. Mom bought me a lot of these. This just feels like a styrofoam piece. There's another mask in there. There's a 2018 ball down here. Another butterfly. Another green, pretty peacock. And I guess that's it. Here's another peacock. So that's my little tree. Not much to it. But, I mean, I usually put it in my back room back there where I craft. Hope you liked it. All right, back to business. Okay, our next step, we're going to work on our cover. Now, this is the inside, like I said. I've got it prepped up. I've got a few score lines here to help me put it in. But first, I want to do the cover while it's lying flat. I found that to be the easiest way. Now see, I've got the front done. I thought you'd be able to see this material more. This is actually material I bought to do a peacock quilt, and I never got around to it. So I've got this whole stack of material on my shelf behind me that would go really well for a peacock quilt. my sewing machine is still not working. Now see where it's a little off down here? Let's put this up here a little further. Yeah, it's kind of off. So what I'll do a lot of times is I'll take and pull it. I had to cut and rip so I could get the edges the way I wanted them. And then I like that little bit of a raw edge sticking out, you see. So is that straight? I guess that'll be straight enough. And I'm taking my fabric tack, and what I'm going to do is just going to go over the whole thing. Now this is a Dollar Tree book, and as you can see, it's got a big dent in it. See it there? And I think I had a dent in the bottom of the front. I suppose that's how they ended up at Dollar Tree. That's my guess. So, you know, they wouldn't be... It did have a jacket on it that would keep you from seeing it, but I guess it didn't pass inspection somewhere. Who knows? So I'm just going to smear me a bunch of fabric tack all over the back. And you want to get a good amount of glue when you're putting fabric down, because I'm gluing all of these extra pieces, you see. So you're going to need it to hold all the different elements pretty securely. All right, up and down, up and down. And then a little bit more right there. Okay, now, yeah, my fabric tack always comes in handy. All right, now we're just going to lay it on here. Try to get it centered, and I don't mind that it sticks over here toward the spine. That won't hurt anything at all. You can always get in here and rip more of the threads out, and that will pull it down a little bit, you know. I like to do that sometimes as well if it's a little larger than what I need. I also have over here this. Now you see, I don't want this Danielle Steele Beauchamp haul on there. So what I'm going to do is I got this ribbon. I think it's from Walmart, but it's gold, so it goes with the rest of the theme. So I'm going to cut it off right there. I might have to trim it off a little bit more later, but that's okay. Throw it down there, and then I'm going to put me a strip of glue right along this middle, right in here, right with the name. But that will help disguise the name. All right. I don't know which is the front. I think it's this one. And I'll just come in here later after it's dried and trim off the top and the bottom extra pieces. I'm going to just try to get it centered here and pulled out to where it's nice and flat. Ooh. And I'm trying not to let that fabric tack squeeze out. That's the other thing. I did a little bit right there because it's shiny, and I did a little bit right there. All right, I think I got it. I'm going to let that dry for just a minute. Okay, so now we're going to take our letters. This is the last 9 letters I have. I cleaned out that whole pack. It's gone. So my best concept here was to line up at the corner. And what I'm going to do, flip this around, and we're going to glue it down. And I'm going to show you kind of the way I did it, and then I'll go in and I'll just glue the rest of them down, because you don't need to see them all. I'll just do a couple for you and show you how I did it. I kind of went here, lined it up where I had a little bit showing, and I took one of my stamping blocks and I went over top of it. It was just enough, and I'm pushing down, and boy does that help, because it made this so nice and flat. There's hardly anything sticking up. So yeah, it takes just a second or two. Now I always like to cap my fabric tack because I don't want it to air out. If it does get a little thicker, especially as you're using it and as it goes down in height there in your bottle, put a little bit of fingernail polish remover in there. That acetate will loosen that stuff up, and pour it in there and let it soak a little bit, and then start shaking it, and it'll do the trick. I've had to do that several times when mine got really gummy. Now, I didn't mean to do this letter next, but looking at the front one, I think that's just about right, because you want enough room over here with a little bit in between on either side, so I think we're good. These letters are all uniform. I don't know what happened with me on the first 2 or 3, but they are a little bit smaller than the rest. But yeah. Now what you would want to do is, like, this is the O, P, Q, R, and then you might want to go down here where the S is at and put that one on next, because that's going to give you an idea of how much room is in between these two to put this row in, if you see what I mean. So yeah, that's how I ended up doing it. Let's see, let's put these here. All right, we're going to go next with that one and see. And then you just kind of match the rest of them up, square to square. This is kind of a neat concept. It's a little similar to the one I did before. Now, in my last video, I was decorating the papers, you know, and I did link the industrial journal with, at the end, which showed how I did the other journal. And, yeah, it turned out pretty cool too. I got a little bit of glue sticking out there. And then I'll put this one down, and I gotta make sure it's about the right spot. There. Yeah, now my next one will go here, and I think I'll have just enough room in between. So I'm going to get off of here now that you've seen kind of how the concept of how I'm doing it. If you felt easier to go to each corner and do those first, but always lay another one in here and make sure you've got enough room. You may have to adjust before you actually settle it down. So I will be back as soon as I get this covered. Okay, she's done. I had to set my little stamping block on each one, let it dry flat. They're mostly as flat as I can get them. So isn't that a pretty cover? I love the colors. I'm into the cool colors and the peacock colors. And so, yeah, we'll trim this off later. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Just making sure everything is down. You can almost see the letters through there, but it's not. It kind of actually adds to the look that we've got going here, if you notice. It's just like somebody stamped a little bit of words in there, and it kind of adds to that whole concept. Now, the next part we want to get done is this inside here. And from my Tisdale haul, sorry, I'm thinking of Beauchamp haul. Kirby Teasdale from the paper studio at Hobby Lobby. It has a couple of gorgeous pages in here that has this kind of blue-green little scribble words. So it went perfect with the concept that I was going with. You've even got somebody down here writing like they're writing the letters of the alphabet. Who knows? So I've got it kind of measured off. I wanted this group up here for the back page and this group down here for the front page. So I had to go in here and get it shaped up. Now, I did have to go in with this part, and I laid it in to where it would be, and I kind of made a line here where I knew I had to be over that line. And then this is going to get glued down over top of it. So that's what I come up with here. I'm making sure it's still large enough. I may cut it out a little bit further than what I've actually got. Okay, so let's get that done. And then I'm going to cut off the extra. I'm going to erase the pencil lines that are still showing. Now up here, this little piece here is gorgeous with the little scroll. I may make that into a pocket. I don't know. It would be the perfect pocket. I don't know whether for this or for a butterfly journal or just a journal in general. So we are going to actually go ahead and cut that so it doesn't have this extra piece hanging on it. I'm going to go ahead and cut across here. This is another great little piece. I mean, it's got the blues, it's got the greens, the teals. Oh, I couldn't have asked for a better piece. Plus having a little bit of the flowers in here doesn't hurt a bit. And then we're going to do that. Okay. These can go off to the side to wait for whenever I figure out what I'm going to do with them. Alright. Oh, I forgot to cut this piece off at this end. Yeah. I wanted more of the hand to be visible, so that's why I went over a little bit further. And we'll go ahead and do our erasing. I don't want that to be on there still. This is always my favorite paper in the Kirby Teasdale. I guess because of the colors. The colors always speak to me. These shades, they're kind of calming. And, they're bright and cheery to me. I guess that's why I always liked peacocks. I love jewel tones. Now the tree, I didn't turn my tree on out there because really you can't see much. There's a few little teal colored lights that come on. And that's it. And you can't really see them. And when they're on, you can't see anything else in the tree. So I left them off. Okay, so see, I wanted this to go on top of the white. Instead of me getting in here and having to paint that white area or whatever it might end up being, I'm going to just go around the whole thing with glue, and we're just going to glue it down. This is my Barely Arts glue, which is a nice permanent glue. Have to get this on. I could have done some glue stick, but you know, I don't always trust the glue stick unless I put this on the outside edge and do a little bit of dots in between with this and the glue stick. So I think that's good enough. Now we just have to get it in the right spot. All right, get it along the edge. You can always slide a little bit with Barely Arts. You got a little bit of movement time. So that's what we're going to do. Get my new rag out here. The other one got so gluey and stiff I couldn't use it no more, so I got rid of it. All right. Rub that down. I have a little decoration for the front, but we won't do that until the very end because I don't want it to get in the way of me being able to lay the book flat, especially putting in the signature kind of deal. Oops. Yeah, I couldn't believe how well all these little things are going together for my story, which is, you know, this is an alphabet journal. I heard somebody else call it an ABC journal, so I don't know. But I'm pretty excited about getting started. Miss Jody Lewis Creations, she's the one hosting it. It will be on her Facebook page. And I think you can follow the link. I'll link her in the title. And then you can probably go, I'm trying to think how you would do that. I guess then you can go over, follow that link to go over to her her YouTube page. That's it. That would take you over to her YouTube, and then she's probably got a link in her description box if you would like to participate in this alphabet challenge. Yeah, I would suggest it. It's always fun. It always, exercises your mind. Now, for putting in the signature, I'm not going to go with this. I'm going with the fabric tack because I feel like it's a little stronger. I know it's a little messier, but I feel like it's a little stronger. Now, these two little pieces I showed you earlier, I'm not going to put them on this video. I'm going to actually face them out this way and put them along the front and the back page because that color will go with that color and kind of tie it in. Instead of me just throwing them away, I thought I would use them. Now, when I made this, I made it to be about the right distance between this top edge and this bottom edge to cover up that white. All right. But some people, like Nick the Booksmith, I think they have some kind of special tape or something. It's got like a little bit of a grid design like that. Oops. When I tore that one out, that's what happened. But what I'm going to do first, I'm going to glue this whole back piece. And I measured this to be within this size. So I can't give you a measurement that would work with your book. You have to just measure that yourself. Okay, we're going to put this part in, and then we're going to work the sides in. So while I'm waiting and we're seeing how this turns out, I'm going to ask, does anybody have any resolutions for the year? I'm thinking I'm going to go with trying to eat better. I know. And exercise, because I don't do any at all. No exercising at all. Yeah, I think my poor doctor asked me if I could get some more exercising in and eating better. So anyhow, last year I did where I didn't buy anything. I tried to use what was in my stash. I think a lot of people did that one. And I did pretty decent. I mean, I didn't hardly cheat at all. I had money that came in from the shop where I had sold things. And then I had money in my PayPal where I had sold journals before and people had purchased them and paid me through PayPal. So that's how I was doing most of my buying. And yeah, it turned out pretty decent for me. Now I just usually sit here and I'll keep going and going and going and rubbing it on. This is how I do all my usually hidden signatures that I do. Which, if this was an actual hidden signature, these wing things wouldn't be on here. But it would be about the same concept. Alright, let me get in here in the middle again. If I can find the middle. Come on. Come on. There we go. Alright. Now, I use this foil for a few different things. As you can see, the letters I also cut out of the same foil. So it would all tie together, you know. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I think it's in there pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is try to tilt it up a little bit. Oh, nope. It's not stuck yet. I don't know that it's going to stick that well to this crazy background. Tell you the truth. I might have to get in here with my sides to make sure it stays. All right, let me work at this a little bit more, and I'm going to put you on hold, and I'll be back. All right, I glued the back one down. I'm still having trouble with it gluing to this type of paper or whatever that spine is made from. The whole concept of these wings being on here is this is where all the strength will be holding the signatures in. I didn't want it to really rely on that back strip. This is only for it to look decent. I mean, you can put a piece of material or something in here and have it sticking out if you didn't want to see through there and see that white background or craft colored background. I've done that before as well. But I'm going to go ahead and get my glue on here, and we're going to get this one down, because maybe that'll help hold the center, because it doesn't seem to be wanting to stick. It could be I've got that washi tape on there, and those two just don't mesh very well. That could be it. Alright, let's do that. Put our lid on. And what I did on the back side, I just kind of laid that flat and just kind of laid it down. As you can see, I've got a couple of score lines in here that's going to try to help me out. So whenever it wants to bend, it will bend. Yeah, I think that'll work fine. I just need to push this down and hold it for a little bit, and I will be back. Alright, well, I've got it laying open, and as you can see, I've kind of messed it up already. When you mess with foil and acetate together, oh my goodness, that acetate, a few little threads got on the front there, and it eats away at the acetate color. Jody Lewis, she just did a thing the other day where she took some candy foil and she put on some of her alcohol ink on it, and it ate off the top cover. So she found out that way how it kind of works. Now, I found a few little goodies in my stash. Now, I've made this. I'll put this as a pocket on the back, and it goes really well with the roses back there. And I had made this a while back where I took squares, a 1-inch square, folded it over, and kept going. And then I kind of just sewed around the outside edge. And this was some coffee dyed paper that I'd made a little cluster over here, and it kind of goes with it. It's got the same writing on it, but the colors also match. And I believe I'm going to put that on. It's just my regular Fairly Arts. And the thing is, it's going to be an up tuck. So I need to put my hand where I don't want to glue. And I'm going to go all the way around the outside of the top and the two sides, and then hopefully this will stick to the foil. I'm hoping. I didn't want to put anything down here because you know, the obvious, I don't want to cover that pretty little scene up. So we're going to do that. And it'll leave me a little bit of room to, I could put like what we're doing, like the alphabet challenge. I could do a little write-up on that. Or Jody might have something with the rules or I don't know how, I don't know what she's coming up with yet. I know there's 3 prompts for each letter. And she's got to load her chooser, or whatever she called that thing. Some kind of generator. But anyhow, it chooses the different words for you for each letter. And then I had made these, I think these were part of the Roxy's Weekly Challenge a long time ago, and I had this extra piece, and I made it, and it's a little girl reading a book. As long as you live, keep learning how to live. Okay, so I thought that would go with this, because it's kind of giving me a concept of school, or school books, or school learning. So I kind of went with the little girl. And then this was Easter. It had Happy Easter on this banner, and I covered it up. But anyway, this is supposed to go on a page like this. You put it, let me pull this over. You put it in like this, and you're gluing it here, and maybe along the spine part, and then here. It's a tuck, and then it's a flip out. So I'm not exactly sure where it's going to go, but the colors are perfect. The colors and the theme is perfect. So it's going to go behind me now until I figure out what page I want to put it on. And this is the other pocket, and got some alphabet, you know, the same stamps I actually have in here. Let me make sure that's totally done there. And where is one of that? That one. That stamp is on here. So it really goes together. Now this is where I have nothing down here but this rose. So I'm going to put this in. Now, I don't even have to block out my Aztec art there. Okay. Of course, you can see I did that on the ice cream sandwich box. Okay, and like that. And that. Okay. We're going to put this down. I actually messed up a little bit because I didn't get this base paper all the way over. Let me try to hide that little bit of white with this pocket. All right, that works. That pocket is very stiff because of it being on that ice cream sandwich container. Oh, okay. There we go. There. I think that'll work. Of course, it had the blues and stuff. It almost looks like the flowers are going all the way around, doesn't it? That's really cool. Okay. So, next. What is next? All right. Let me do sort of a flip through here. I do need to find a page that's going to have that little girl on it with reading a book. And then I have to find... I might do a few clusters with the flowers and that. And, yep, I'm kind of liking how that's all doing. Now, see, I have my letters in here already. And like I told you, I put an extra page in between. Otherwise, I'd have A and then B. But I thought, you know, if I wanted to write or something, I always loved how this turned out. That was Rit dye. And then I sprinkled it on there, and I had dipped it in tea or coffee or something, and then I put pages together. And I guess when you put the two pages together, they made almost like a little bubble kind of a design in there. And I loved how that turned out. So yeah, I've got the A here. I cut out a bunch of scraps. I glued scraps together to make them large enough for my 1.5-inch circle, and that's how I did it. Let's see, I've just got every other one, but in some cases, like back here, I'm not flipping too fast, am I? Some cases, like back here where my two signatures meet, there was somewhere I had to, like, you know, ad lib a little bit. And yeah, this is sort of a pinky color, so I thought it went good with my mulberry. You know, I put a few, like I had blue in it, so, and I think that was supposed to be pink, but it also could be lilac. There's the other side of that page. Like right here. Now, it may be that I make another N and I actually put it over here instead. I got to decide. When I get up to that point, I don't know if I'm going to make a small... I could make a small pocket and put down here for my N. And then like a cluster or something over here for the O. So maybe these are all right. I just don't know what I'll make that day, you know. And so this one had a lot of yellowies, so I thought it went good with this one. And that one was dark, so I thought it went with the black. So they all kind of worked out good. Like I like that where it goes down the side and you see the faded. There's one of them where you can actually see. I think this is one of my favorites. You can actually see on the other side. See, I covered that one up. And I covered that one up. There was, oh, yeah, that's my favorite right there. That big spot in it. But I do have a few places I have to probably cover because it's stamped through. But we're going to take one of our flowers, one of our doilies, and here are my little birdies. And I've got them kind of in the order of, I think, the seasons. So this is those little red-breasted nuthatches. So they're going to be on this page. And see that color I did on the outside? These are from a calendar I got. Look on the back of all your calendars because it's got all 12 of your little pictures on there. And you you can cut those out and then make some kind of a little, put them on like another colored background that goes with them. If you had enough white on the outside of the picture, you could use that as your, base. You don't have to put it on anything else. But yeah, you can make some cool little extra pieces to go in clusters. All right, we got that. We got the bird. We need a, oh, I like this one. This one, I splattered all of these as well. Some of them you can kind of see, some of them you can't. But I do, can you see that one as much? I got 3 of these little skinny ones here. Whoops. Well, they're not agreeing with me. That one is not very dark. I need to put some of these on some dark paper. But maybe we'll use it. I think it'll work. All right. So what we're doing first, we're putting the doily down. This is just a simple cluster. It's what is whatever you want to do. Now you can get in here and do a little stamping on the background if you wanted. Now I did have, well, let me pull it over here. Let me see what I got. All right, I got all of these at Dollar Tree in Crafter Square, but over a period of time. You have to go in there and look each time. But I got a pretty little fern right there I thought might go. It's a really big flower right there. I have a few twiggy kind of flowers I like. Now on this one, I've got a stamp, a cancellation kind of stamp thing. And I like that one as well. That might go over the stamp part. Plus, I also have this. I have a post office. What does that say? Post office. And then I have the arrival one. So, we're going to use a few different ones of those. I think... I think I'm going to get the fern. I love ferns, by the way. And in case you didn't know, I love ferns. So we are going to take our little fern out. And we're going to take and put him a couple of little stamps. Let me find me a stamp block. It's over here. And we're going to put him on the back. I'm guessing I'll... Oh, let me find a blue. All right, I got Teal Zeal in my memento. And I thought that would go the best with all the different colors. So let's see what we got going here. And these are not good if you want to get any, get them wet. But see, I'm going to stick that kind of up right there. Oh, yeah, pretty, pretty. Now we're going to put one at a different angle, but right out from that one. Like this. So he looks like he's growing a little higher. There we go. That's all we need for that. And now we're going to actually glue this down here, and we're going to cover up our end. All right. I don't know how easy this is going to be to glue because of all the holes. But I'm going to try to do the best that I can. Usually if you go around the outside edge, it works. I'm only going to probably decorate this one with you because the rest of them you'll get to see as I go through the journal and decorate. So it'll be a little surprise for you. All right, I'm going to put that one like right down there like that and dab through it because it's going to have a little leakage. And then I got to figure out where I want my little nuthatch to be. He will probably be like down there like that. Yeah, right on the side. And I have my 2 flowers. Or greenery. Or, yeah, I guess that's greenery. But do I need to have that one in there? I'm going to save that one. I like that one, but I think I might go with this one. Because of it having a fern-like appearance. Do you see that? So, yeah. And that color blue kind of blends in with the blue on the other page. So, I like these. These are, they call them wildflowers in the die cuts for Tim Holtz. Everybody usually has one. You see everybody using them. And I've got 2 of them, and I'll just cut out when I have scraps, and does the trick. They just kind of fill in holes and things. Like, it doesn't take up that much room. You can still journal on there. Gives you something to journal around, something to talk about. All right, then we're going to do our little nuthatch. I just like to show you how easy it is to do clusters. They don't have to be totally, you know, extreme. Too extreme. It could just be simple. Now, I'm going to get in here and do a little bit more stamping. Like, I'm going to probably stamp around the side of this, this with a cancellation stamp. So let me get that ready. Okay, so I have my little cancellation post office stamp here. And we're going to use that same ink. And then we're going to go in here. I didn't want to use black because I thought it was too harsh. So we're just going to go in here at an angle like that. And hold it down just so the ink gets in there, because I've got some splatters, and this is kind of a slick surface. I didn't quite go on it, but there we go. Did it do it? It's on there. But it kind of pulls everything together because I had such a distance between that and that. All right, let me put this up to the side. And we have one more thing to do, which is our outside. I was only going to show you one of these, and I'll finish the rest of them off screen. I did have a little bit more of this Bundled Sage Distress glaze that I might use as backgrounds on some of these. It just depends. I don't know that I've got anything that's really blatantly green in here, so I don't know that I'm going to do that. But I thought that turned out pretty. Yeah, it goes in really well with the background. All right, let me make sure everything's still sticking. That is not sticking that well. But once I close it, I think I'll be good with it. I can always squirt a little bit of extra down in the corner. Yeah. See, I'm just making sure that stays shut. So, once I shut it like this, I think I'm good. Yeah, looks like it may stay there. All right, so, like I said, I'm going kind of with school theme. So, it's kind of sticking open. I may have to end up putting a clamp or a hitch ball fastener or something on this at the end to get it to stay shut. I don't know. I'm still, and I think mostly I'm going to make skinny things, like just simple little skinny things. So it shouldn't be taking up too much of the room. All right. So I searched and I found this window, this chipboard window. I really like the shape of it. So that's going to go down here. My little girl, it kind of covers up the eye all the way, doesn't it? That's all right. So it's going to kind of go right there. The little girl is going to stand on that line right there and be on this side. And see, she's got her flag. And yeah, she's going to be just like that. And then this plant, which has some of the splatter on it, is going to go over here. So we need to put that on first and get that secured. And then we can put our window on. But, yeah, so if anybody has their resolutions figured out, I wouldn't mind hearing about it and seeing what you're going to do. I guess it's one of those things that nobody ever really follows. You say you're going to do a resolution, but then you don't. But, you know, it's hard. It's so hard to do resolutions, isn't it? Okay, let's see if we can pat that little guy down. And I'm going to actually put the frame on and the little girl with fabric tack. So let me go ahead and hook this shut. Pull my fabric tack back over here. I didn't want to colorize these two because it's so much brightness. I think this little bit of grayscale really, really helps. I think it really calms it down. It gives you something kind of mellow to look at. All right, so let me get my glue tapped on here. I don't know whether I need it through the center, but I'll try to get a little bit on there. All right. Like I said, this goes right here. Like that. I can't believe my eyes totally gone. Oh. And then we're going to put... Oh, let me see where I need to... Oh. So most of the flag, a little bit on her back and feet. She's not touching too much. All right, most of the flag. I know at the top it doesn't need it. And I think there was something over here on this side that was touching. And I'm going to actually put a little bit right there, since I can't really see. Oh, the back of her head. Okay. There we go. That works? Yeah. All right, let me go ahead and wipe this nose off of this. Sometimes you have to wipe the nose of your fabric tack off because it builds up. And then you can't really get a good sharp piece to come out. All right, I think we have done everything we needed to do here. Like I said, I'm adding these. I'm going to do more clusters. And I think that's it. And I had to find a spot for that one little girl here. And that's it. All right. I hope you enjoyed this. I know you like to see me do mixed media. So I hope this filled the bill. And you got to see a lot of great things and good ideas that you might be able to do in your own craft room. And I will talk to you again soon, everybody. I really, really thank you. Oh, don't go away. I got Wayne's Happy Mail. Rats. Oh, hang on. Wow, I'm so sorry. Man, I was just getting ready to go. But here is what he sent me. Isn't it smart? I've been looking at this guy. I've been looking and looking because I love the look of him. And he would be steampunk all the way. But you have the 755, which was on some of that paper I just used in my book. And that was on there as well. But isn't this great? A lot of great things on here. And the stamp here, I'm not exactly sure what you use that with. I'll have to see what some of those others say. He said that he had extras. So he found out that these were extras that he had in his stash. And look at this. This has got some really great things on it. It's kind of like the Tim Holtz pieces, but I see a lot of stuff on there that he doesn't have. I did notice the collect, like the phone kind of thing, because I've got a phone digital. Here's Telephone Fort Hill up here. And then I think there's a few other things that I thought those would be perfect. Look, that's kind of identification. There's like the cancellation thingy for the stamps. You got little... Now, see, I needed that. When I do the stamps, you're usually supposed to put a price on them. And I was having to come up with it with putting little things together. And oh my gosh, I got that now. Thank you, Wayne. Now, he sent me these little guys, little spare parts, dominoes. Those will be perfect in my game journal. I've got things I've been collecting for a game journal, and I hadn't put together yet. So that we, oh, a little octopus. Oh, octopi. What do you say? How do you say that? And then a bunch of stuff is in here. Keys. You know I'm a fan of keys. Oh, look at them. Oh my gosh. A lot of times people use these to do the closing on their journals. They'll put a strip of cloth on there, a ribbon. Oh, look at it. Skull and crossbones. And then they'll put the key on there and wind it around. That's an owl. Wow. I think that's an angel. No, it's either a bell or an angel. And some steampunk things are in here, I see. So wonderful. That's a great stash. You must not be using anything. Oh, what is, oh, it's a skull. Look at that. Oh, how cute. All right. Now, he also sent me, let me get that off my finger. He also sent me a bunch of papers that he's just didn't need, like that. And you know, I'll find ways to use these. Homemade preserves, bird seed. I can't remember if he was saying he had a certain journal that these were for, or what. But check out these cows. Look at them. Oh, there's a St. Nick's Choice. Maybe those were Christmas. But check out these wild-looking cows. There's this woman, P. Buckley Moss, that used to have a museum down the road here in Waynesboro. And she had these weird-looking creatures. The geese had the really, really long necks, and these cows look like P. Buckley Moss. They really do. But there's 3 of them. They're great. I don't know if it's going to be for like a farm journal, which I could probably do that again. And he sent me chickens. All kinds of chickens. So I'm ready for a farm journal. Here are some, what is that? It's upside down. That almost looks like that woman. I can't remember her name right now. That's cool looking. I love that stamp. And this is similar to something I had. Mine were loose. Oh, look at that one. Oh my gosh. These are like foiled and different metallics, and then they've got like the beading. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful too. Look, they've got the glitter. Oh, and mine had like a sewing one. So they're really, really similar to what I, oh gosh, had in the past. These are gorgeous. I might have to figure out exactly what I want to use these for. Maybe I could do like a bunch of covers. And these could be like part of the background. Like I could do a journal cover. Now, he's got a lot of these in here. And he's already tea-dyed them. So the backs are already done for me. And all I have to do is throw them together in a journal. But I'm not sure what the paper's from. I don't recognize it. But look, there's game cards. So I don't know if it's something I could use for my game journal or not. See, you'd have toy cars. That might be what I use this for. That's got, yeah, a crossword on it. Look at that. So that one looks familiar to something I've got, though. So I kind of recognize that one, but they could have had them for different things. That one's got perfume on it. Keys, you know, I'm into keys. All right, and then he's got all of these papers, which, let's see. These are all like just colored papers. I don't know if he colored them or he got them from someone else. And then these are sort of family tree related. Check those out. They got like a doily background. That one's got album on it. Isn't that cool? Gosh. Because I was wanting to do a family tree album. I've got some stuff for it. So that would be perfect to add. Perfect. Oh, and now his journal. You've got to see his journal. He does his own digital images. And he just does it for his own pleasure. Let me get all this out of the way. And, Couldn't get my fingers on that one. But you just wait till you see it. I guess is this fall or winter? Maybe it's winter oriented. But look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? You wouldn't find anybody with something like this, you know, and he chooses his background first. I know we're always talking on email. And he says he chooses his backgrounds first, and then he comes up with the images. And he's got some things tucked in over here. Oh, how pretty little birdies. And then he's got this in here, which has a pocket. And it's got all these little Christmas things in a pocket. He must have got one of those Tim Holtz kits. I've yet to get those, but I see everybody using them. Warm hearts and loving hearts. I was saying that wrong. I like how he's got this little flip over here too that comes off. And this is a flip out. It's got part of his part of a story in here that he wrote. He does writing as well. He's very talented. Okay, and the bleak midwinter frosty wind made moan. Oh, it must be some kind of a some kind of a poem. Isn't that pretty? Oh, and here's a pocket with all these little poinsettia flower music pieces. He said he's not into doing pockets that much, but then sometimes he is. But he's got his own style. Isn't it wonderful? Yay, look at that little kid. And then these are just kind of little pieces and parts. Oh, the ice skate. This is so nostalgic and vintage. And then here is where you can see his tie and he's got a glove and a hat and a reindeer. Almost looks like some of the houses we have down here in town. And that's like a flip out. So you see in the outside and then the inside. Beautiful angel. That one year I was into music, and especially for Christmas stuff. Ooh, to wish you every good wish. This, oh, that's a flip out. Ooh, baking. Little mice, rabbits. The rabbits, I think. Yeah, that's me. I can't tell a rabbit from a mouse. All paths lead to home. Another one of his flip-out stories. And, gosh, those little kids are kind of young to be kissing, aren't they? Oh, I love this background because it looks like a quilt. And it goes so good with this. And that's another one of his stories. And, oh, this one flips out. So you can see it's got books over here. And then it's got another pocket with a fold out. Oh, Merry Christmas. And then we have this. It is better to light just one little candle than to stumble in the dark. Now, candles is one of my things I'm always thinking of for Christmas because, oh, and it's got little candles on here as well. Because I always loved those Christmas trees from the nostalgic time that had the candles on it. But I always wonder how it didn't burn the house down. Christmas is not so much about opening our presents as opening our hearts. I believe in that. Isn't she pretty? She walks in beauty like the night. Of cloudless climates, starry skies, and all its best of dark and bright, meet in her aspect in her eyes. That almost reminds me of that Angels and Demons movie where they were trying to find the Mary or whatever her name is, Mary Magdalene. All right. Well, I really, really love this. This is gorgeous, Wayne. I really love it. You did such a good job on it. Look, it's really sturdy. Oh, a joyous Christmas. I didn't look at the back. But it feels so good in your hands. It's so solid and has so many beautiful images in it. He did such a wonderful job. Well, I really, really appreciate it, Wayne. And I thank you so much for all the other goodies that you sent in there. You'll be seeing them. But everybody else, all my subscribers and viewers, I really want to wish everybody a happy, happy new year. I probably won't have a video out before then, maybe the day after, who knows. But everybody, take care, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.